Good morning and welcome everyone. This is a webinar sponsored by Weave called the Paperless Office, the Benefits of Implementing Digital Forms and Digital Intake Processes. My name is Ryan White. I am a Senior Marketing Manager here at Weave and have been in the tech and medical space for the last about 15 years. I am joined here today with CJ, the Product Manager with Weave, who's been specializing in digital processes like forms and other software integrations that really build towards making your practice, making your business more efficient, and to get better ROI. A few housekeeping items I want to bring to attention before we start the presentation today. Since it is a Weave sponsored webinar, you will see at the top button if you want to learn a little bit more about the company and about its. We won't talk a lot about us today, but if you do want to learn more about the company, you can see a request a Weave demo button, and we'd be more than happy to get you some more information as well as showcase how these products work in real time. Also, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. We will save our Q&A until the end of the presentation, but feel free to put them in at any point and then we can reference them at the end. It's my privilege to now welcome CJ, and he's going to be leading our presentation and the benefits of the paperless office. Welcome, CJ.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that introduction, Ryan. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. My name is CJ. As Ryan mentioned, I am the product manager over our digital forms product here at Weave. I just wanted to take some time today to really take a step back and talk about, the context that digital forms exists in. So for today, just gonna cover, excuse me, at a high level, some market trends that are happening around going paperless. This is obviously a trend that has been huge across the industry for the past several years, even decades, especially around dental and medical offices. And then want to talk a little bit about how digital processes, especially in the intake process with forms, can help reduce inefficiencies and leverage data more efficiently, and then some of the benefits around that as well. So, I think just to start off, collecting information through forms, especially at the during the intake process, is really, not an unfamiliar process to most folks on this call, right? But I think it's also a process that has been traditionally really fraught with a lot of pain points. You end up using a lot of paper. I know from my own personal experiences that, coming into the office, there's a lot of opportunity for the form process to cut into appointment time, and then that throws off your whole schedule. The requirements around, entering data opens up risks for data entry errors and inaccuracies in the information that's entered into patient charts. With the recent things around COVID, I think too, there's also been a heightened awareness around the risk for exposure between individuals, right? When staff are coming, or when patients are coming in, or customers are coming in and working with office staff. Just the transfer of information does not have to also entail the transfer of diseases or of other problems. And then finally, just it's not very transportable information, right? Once it's on paper, it's hard to search. You can't really reference it again. Again, it's just sort of a dead end container for the information. But as an organization, we're really looking into build out more paperless solutions and digital options for our customers. Looking at some of the data and the research in the market really helped inform how the opportunity for digital forms could help improve the lives of dental offices, medical offices, as well as small businesses in general. So 74% of patients expect clinics to keep an accurate record. Doing that requires that your data entry is tight, it's up to date, that you're not making errors when you're transferring information from patient to their records, to their charts. And of course, this can be difficult when you're having to do it manually and you're balancing a lot of different priorities, a lot of other tasks that have to be managed across the front office. 42% of patients have also noticed an error due to misunderstood information on intake form. And I think, this is pretty commonplace and something that's just hard to avoid, right? Like bad handwriting is hard to interpret sometimes. Um, Sometimes, that when that information, impacts treatment or impacts the quality of service that a customer will receive from a business, this has real implications for the experience of that customer, and ultimately could impact the bottom line of your office or your business. Um, and then, lastly, only 13% of people prefer using physical forms versus digital forms. Um, I think as more and more customers and more patients start to become familiar and used to using digital processes, not only at the point of intake, but throughout their customer experience from first contact all the way to final payment. I think that is, not a surprising number already, but also expected to just get smaller and smaller, right? There is something to be said about the physical experience of filling out a form in person and on paper. But I think more and more customers and patients are starting to value and expect that there's a digital process that really not only ensures accuracy in the information and a clear line of communication, but also just facilitates a faster process and makes things more automatic for them and for the office staff. So taking all of this into consideration, I think, also worth taking a quick step back and really thinking about the larger context here around going paperless, right? So in the dental and medical space, there's been talk for a long time about being chartless, right? And so think about how patient information, customer demographic information, CRM interactions with past customers have all started to really move towards a digital space. And that has brought along and included a lot of other aspects of the customer experience as well. So, treatment plans or the actual service agreement that is between a customer and a business have started to become digital as well. And we see that stored in their electronic records or their practice management system. Payment information, scheduling information, all of that have started to become much more digitized. And in fact, to the point that I don't know any offices that are still using more traditional methods around scheduling and payments and record maintenance. But the one area that has actually remained pretty paper full still is the intake process, especially collecting that initial data about a customer. And the starting point for beginning a relationship with a new patient or a customer. And if you think about it, if you take a step back, like it kind of defies logic that this still is a very paper and manual process, right? Like this is your first interaction, your first real human interaction with a new patient or a new customer. You're finding out their names, their address, their name, their address. You're finding out what are their needs, what's their health history, or what's their, what are their expectations, what records are they bringing. And so this is actually a really crucial place to have that accuracy and to make sure that it goes as smoothly as possible. And so if your customers and your patients are spending a lot of time upfront having to fill out information in the office, that's cutting into appointment time. That's exposing opportunities where they might not fill out information fully and completely. And then once it's handed over to staff and then it has to be entered in, it's laying the foundation for the entire relationship with a customer. And so as we look towards more paperless digital forms, and as we look to build out a digital forms product, which we now have in the market, but is definitely still evolving. And I think we see that with a lot of competitor products as well. But as this is continuing to evolve with paperless form products, the name of the game is really going to be about how do we automate that information collection process so that customers can do it easily. And then so that offices can then transport that information and store it accurately and with as few errors as possible. And so, I've talked a little bit about this already, but when it comes to paperless form solutions, we're seeing the benefits really come in three specific areas. So number one, efficiency. Have talked a little bit about this, but saving time for the individuals in the office who have a lot of other tasks and want to focus on, key important things that help drive revenue. Efficiency in terms of keeping appointments in schedule and making sure that because someone comes in late and doesn't have their forms filled out, it's not throwing off the whole day and putting everyone behind a half an hour. And then, of course, also just efficiency in terms of transferring that data. Instead of having to sit down and manually enter information, the ideal state, the dream in the future is that a single button push could fill out information across an electronic record and fill out every data field, update data fields, and then also flag important notes and changes as customers come back. So, this is the efficiency that we as a company are building towards with our product, but also where offices can really unlock the most value. Saving money. So cutting back on the usage of paper and other resources for filling out forms, reducing the risk of data entry errors, especially if automation is available, and that saves time, which comes out to money for office staff to be able to focus on other activities and really, again, direct things towards generating revenue. And then in this third area, safe and secure. So as we're building out paperless solutions around digital forms, definitely want to make sure that we're considering what are the physical impacts and how do we help keep both patients and customers secure as well as office staff secure. And then also how is HIPAA compliance, especially when it comes to dental and medical offices, how's that playing into the products that we're building to make sure that patient information is protected, that as it's transferred to other sources and other databases, that it remains secure. And then ultimately, I think paperless forms, regardless of how they're built, offer a higher level of protection over manual forms, paper forms, because it's an opportunity to reduce the potential for waste and discarded forms becoming a security liability. So, as we're building out digital forms and thinking about how to make this process much more efficient and much more digital, I think these are really the three priorities that we're going to see as the biggest calls to action for any solution that's out there, and definitely the ones that we are looking for with our solution as we're building it out, and kind of our guiding principles as well. So, ultimately, digital forms again can provide a lot of benefits around different opportunities, but as paperless form solutions become more available, I hope to see a lot more expanded use cases around them. So we talked a little bit about customer information or patient intake forms, but there's also huge headspace and huge opportunity around things like medical history forms, treatment consent forms, COVID screening, insurance verification, or even identity verification, and capturing key information for verifying treatments or legal checks. And so, this is something that is increasingly becoming table stakes for more and more practices and more small businesses. And so we're only going to see this trend continue to grow. And as more of these form solution products become available and become more developed, I think we'll be able to see more and more potential for them and more opportunities to use these paperless forms to enable a lot of different functions and processes for a business at every stage of the customer journey. So, taking in patient information is always going to be key. It's always going to be critical, and we're always going to want to make sure that that process is smooth, is secure, and that it is as accurate as possible, so that so that offices are able to build a strong relationship with their customers right from the beginning. But as data collection becomes important and as relationships with your patients and with customers deepen, Forms has a huge potential to really help build a better practice through more customization, collecting more data to help inform better solutions, better treatment plans, and then ultimately just maintain a stronger relationship with your customers. Because if you're able to identify their needs, understand their problems, then that unlocks solutions and opportunities for you to help them out as well. And so, those are certainly our guiding principles when it comes to our digital forms product. But at the end of the day, I think what an office and a practice should really look for is, is a paperless form process going to serve your needs? Is it going to help deliver efficiency? Is it going to help deliver savings in terms of money? And is it going to help deliver safety and security for the information that you're collecting? And as well for your individual stakeholders, your staff, your patients, your customers. And so that's kind of Forms at a high level. Of course, Weave does offer a digital forms product, as I've mentioned throughout this. In addition to all of our other great features and products, this one thing that really stands out for me is the opportunity to integrate. With our product, the complete business toolbox, we offer text messaging, phones, payments, scheduling, reviews, and team chat all in one platform. And so Forms is just another piece that layers onto this and helps connect to it. So as you're setting up your schedule and you're looking towards the next day, our digital forms product can go in and actually identify who needs to receive forms for tomorrow's appointments, who needs to receive forms for appointments 1 week or 2 weeks out from now. And so in addition to building out a safer, more secure and efficient process for the information collection, we're also looking to find processes that help enable automation across the entire workflow, so that you're not just collecting information and having it sit there, but you're also able to automate and send out the requests for information and then process that information and then plug that into customized messages or customized customer experiences, so that that information is actually being leveraged and used in a way that helps you do your jobs better. So that's kind of the digital forms big and short at a high level. We're really excited about this product from our perspective here at Weave. There's a lot of great features that we have planned. And, like I said, our vision for Forms goes beyond just delivering those table stakes of efficiency and save money, but also to really deliver value that helps connect all the disparate parts of your business into one cohesive experience that seems seamless and easy for customers. But that's everything that I really want to cover in today's conversation. I think we'll turn it over for some questions and see if folks, have anything that they want to follow up on.
Thank you very much,
Ryan?
CJ. Wonderful information. Yes, thank you for your time. We're going to go ahead and open up the Q&A. So if you do have a questions, feel free to put it in the chat. One of the things I want to reference, though, is we didn't show a lot of product-specific images. If you do want to see how Forms work specifically for your office and see how it integrates, feel free to request a demo, and we'll be able to show you that. But I wanted to ask a question, CJ, to start it off is, how are you seeing offices collect this information digitally? Are they sending out emails beforehand? Are they doing it through text? Are they doing it through an iPad when people come into the office? What are you seeing the trends on how offices and medical practices and even businesses are implementing this intake process?
Yeah, so from where I sit, having spoken to a lot of customers, a lot of prospects, and then gone out and built this digital forms product and iterated on it and expanded on it, what I'm really seeing is all the above, to answer your question, right? In today's world, there's so many ways to contact individuals. And so it really is about meeting people where they are. So if you as a patient, Ryan, really prefer to communicate by text message, whereas I might prefer to communicate by email. I think offices really want that flexibility to be able to not only have the option to send it in multiple ways to individuals, but also to kind of understand what those preferences are and just automate it and have it go out automatically that way. So, um, at the end of the day, I think what offices are most interested in is, can we get these forms to people sooner rather than later so that they can fill them out ahead of time, and we're saving time in the office, and we're getting the information accurately, and we can verify it if we need to, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, I think it ultimately comes down to, what are your customers and your patients' needs, and what do they prefer, and is the paperless form solution that you're looking into, is it providing that flexibility for you?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I was speaking with an office the other day, and they were talking about their intake process and how it is digital. And because of the fact that they have a digital process, they're able to spend much more time talking with their patients, and unless it's less of the patient coming in and them handing them a form and then having the patient fill out the form in silence sitting in a chair, but now the front staff is doing a much better job at being able to talk with that patient one-on-one, figure out if they live close, what their hobbies are and their interests, and then they log those into their patient charts, and then they're able to use that information to make a more personalized experience and really add value to the practice. So I think we talked about the benefits earlier, but another thing to always consider is, when you have less time of a patient or a customer filling out this type of information while they're with you, while they're at your business, you can
Yeah.
spend more time providing value.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's a great call out, right? Like, I speak to customers who are interested in digital forms and paperless forms, weekly, several times a week. And what I've seen again and again is that while we're talking about digitizing a very traditional process, it's not about taking the human element out of it. Yes, we're asking to, fill out a form on a screen and send it in ahead of time. But to your point, this is actually enabling a lot of offices to actually add more personalization and more of a human element to their customer experience, because they're not getting bogged down in the nitty gritty of basics, right? Like, instead of having to worry about what's your name, what's your address, what are your preferences, what are your past health issues, I can actually engage with you and, like, oh, say, hey, last time you had come in about this issue, or I know you had some concerns about this area, you noted in your form. Let's have a conversation about it. Let's talk about it. And so it's actually providing a a glimpse inside the needs of customers before they even enter the door, and that provides two key benefits. Right, number one, it frees up time for the office staff to actually engage with the information so that they can actually engage with the customer and provide a better customer experience instead of having to think about pushing paper and just managing a process. Secondly, because that information comes in early, they actually have an opportunity to really absorb it, think about it, and then use it to provide a better experience for customers as soon as they walk in through the door.
Okay. One of the questions we got coming in said, "What type of customization is available? Can I create my own forms and fields?"
Yeah. So I can't speak to all paperless form products, but with our digital forms, we basically have set up two kinds of questions, right? And so there's one set of questions that are fully customizable, just like any other, just like writing it on a Google Doc or a Word document, right? Where you can select a multiple choice question, or you can select a open answer question, and basically have it be any kind of question you want with any kind of answer options. The other type of question set that we offer is called primary fields, which are designed to connect back to certain practice management systems and provide that automated uh, information right back to the system of record. And so this is an area that certainly does have some work to be done, and we're always exploring how we can improve that and provide more accuracy and more flexibility with information that's being written back to the patient record. But I think that's really where we see the opportunity, and that's where the meat of the future for digital forms is for us. So In terms of capturing that information and automatically updating it to the practice management system, that's where we're focusing, 90% of our efforts now in improving the current product.
One question was actually about that process, about the write back and the mapping process. Keela asked, let's see, is there any plan for mapping or double mapping the information to cut down on the practice office time of manually moving, data entry between the systems?
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. The answer there is yes, absolutely. And in fact, it's one of our biggest priorities right now. And so not only is it about mapping and making sure that the information connects to the right places in the practice management system, it's also about providing offices with control so they can decide, do we want to review this information before it goes back? And once I've reviewed it, do I give it a thumbs up, thumbs down? Yes or no, for it to actually go back into the system of record. So, the name of the game is, really making sure that information is accurate and efficient. And so this is something that we're always looking into, and we're doing a lot of research around it right now as well in terms of how to make it work best. And so there's some big things coming for sure to improve how all of that data gets mapped back.
And is there any specific capabilities with writebacks currently?
Yeah, so great question. So currently, as far as our writebacks right now, we integrate with Open Dental, Dentrix, and EagleSoft. There's only certain versions you have to be on in order for it to work. And so right now, to some extent or another, those three systems are able to do new patient creation, patient updates to demographic information, medical history information updates, and then also storage of PDF files of the completed forms. So again, some of those pieces work for some of those systems, and as well, or some of those pieces work better for some systems than others. But we, as I said, are working on building that out, and our engineering team is amazing. There's a lot of different areas that need to be covered when it comes to that to make sure it all works accurately. But we have those in the works and have some updates coming soon.
Okay. We had another question that says, we currently use the text messaging feature through Weave for patients to fill out digital forms. Is there a feature we can fill or filter out which patients fill out what? They don't need the treatment patients to fill out their history update when they were just not too long, when they were here not too long ago for their cleaning.
Yeah. So basically what I'm understanding is we want a way to be able to deliver particular parts of a form to a patient based on kind of what information they have available. And so, I think the best way to do that right now within our digital forms product is to kind of have separate forms specific to different customer types, right? So you can have a new patient customer form or a new patient form versus an existing patient form. But again, we're always looking to have to make changes to how the product works to make it more efficient. And one thing that actually could help in this is an upcoming feature around manual reviews of writebacks. So even though a patient might have recently filled out information, if they come back for an appointment and submit new information around the form, offices will have an opportunity to kind of review that and decide if they want to review that, and then be able to send that information back to the practice management system, depending on whether it's needed to be updated or not. But to that point, so much of what we're looking to do in the coming months and years is not just improve the form experience for offices, but also for customers as well. And so that's super early stages right now. We don't have as much of a defined set of features around what the patient experience improvements will look like, but it is something that's certainly on our radar, and we'll be reaching out and collecting some data around that in the coming weeks.
Okay. And just to circle back, is there any filter processes on forms that that the office manager can use to see if someone didn't fill out specific sections of the form?
Yeah, so that would be possible in the form, in the form activity section of the forms dashboard, where offices can basically review submissions and kind of verify completeness or verify accuracy and information before doing anything with the completed form.
Okay. All right,
Yeah.
well, we're going to wrap it up. We're at 10:30. Thank you very much for joining us. As I mentioned it, earlier, if you want to have more questions specifically about forms and how it interact with your specific practice and your chart system, your practice management system, please request a demo and we can give you those answers and show you more thoroughly how the forms product works and how it functions. CJ, thank you so much for your time, and for all those that logged on, thank you. And for those that are watching later on the on-demand experience, thank you for your time. And we hope to speak with you more further and show more and more advancements to the form product as we continue to make processes more efficient and help you save you time and money.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me, Ryan. It was great. It was great speaking to you. Take care.
Thank you. Have a good day.